Thanks for that, Jessica Le Mazurier in the newsroom. It's been nearly 3 weeks since the shelling began in earnest inside the Syrian city of Homs. Opposition activists claim 26 killed for Wednesday alone inside a town as pro-Assad forces continue to pound the city. Among the dead are those bearing witness. American reporter Mary Colvin of the Sunday Times, French photojournalist Rémi Ochlik, both award-winning seasoned reporters, also killed late Tuesday in Homs. Syrian citizen journalist Rami al-Sayed, who provided live footage on the internet from the Baba Amr stronghold of the opposition. So what's the West to do now ahead of a Friday Friends of Libya meeting that's to take place in Tunis? Russia, a main ally of Assad, already saying it won't attend. In the U.S., the Republicans making it a campaign issue, accusing the Obama administration of not pushing hard enough in its dealing with Assad's backers. Well, today in the France 24 debate, we're looking at all that. Homs under siege is our topic, and with us to talk about it, Abed Amr Rabo, Syrian photojournalist with Balkis Press. Thank you for being with us. Also with us from the International Committee of the Red Cross, Hisham Hassan. He is in Geneva. Thank you for being with us. Joshua Landis of Oklahoma University is the man responsible for all you read at SyriaComment.com. Thank you for being with us again. And Suat Kiniklioglu of Turkey's ruling AK party also heads the Stratum consulting firm. Thank you for being with us from Turkey today. The French Foreign Ministry declining our invitation to take part in the conversation, as did the Syrian embassy in Paris, which did not answer our phone calls. The France 24 debate Facebook page, where you've been answering our calls to weigh in on the conversation, as well as on Twitter, where our handle is at FrancoisF24. Let's begin with you, please, Hisham Hassan of the International Red Cross. In the past 48 hours, the ICRC going public with a plea for a humanitarian truce for the city of Homs. What are the Syrian authorities telling you?
Well, basically, the ceasefire we asked for concerns not only Homs, but all areas affected by the violence, including Homs. We have been in touch since 2 days with the Syrian authorities with this regard, but also with members of the Syrian opposition, all in the aim of ensuring that assistance reaches people. We prefer, for the time being, for the sake of being constructive, to keep this bilateral. However, what I can tell you is that the needs are extremely urgent, and this is one of the reasons why the ICRC actually went public about this kind of appeal.
How long had you been working behind the scenes on this?
Well, with regards to this specific initiative, it has not been a long time. However, we have been present in Syria specifically with regards to this crisis since the beginning, more than a year, but in Syria since 40 years. And we know, we can feel the difference, of course, everyone can. The areas are very much affected, some more than others, but eventually the persons paying the price are the population.
Hisham Hassan, you say at the outset that this is an appeal not just to the Syrian government, but to all armed groups. Are you putting everyone on equal footing?
Definitely not. We are not talking about an armed conflict as ICRC where we put everyone on an equal foot. It's simply a matter of reality that we have to be in touch with everyone in order to ensure a safe passage of our assistance for the population, in order to ensure evacuations. It's something not to deny that there are other actors today in the violence.
All right, and you were mentioning the dire situation inside of Homs. Earlier, the France 24 observers spoke to activist Abu Jafar inside the Baba Amr neighborhood of Homs.
Between 30 and 40 rockets were fired on Baba Amr. This neighborhood is now a disaster area. There are many martyrs, more than 21. 2 journalists have been killed, a French and an American. This means that the media was a target and places where activists gather. They were spotted by planes. They were able to take pictures of them.
Abed Amr Rabo, you knew both of those reporters well, having worked alongside them most recently in Libya. What's your feeling when you hear what that activist is saying? Were the journalists a target, or is this indiscriminate shelling? I know we're in the air-conditioned studios here in Paris. We're not in Homs, but what's your feeling?
First of all, it's very moving moment for me to talk about this. It's really terrible news. And not only, of course, we're mourning Marie and Remy, who did the choice to go there. But also we're mourning, you spoke about Rami al-Sayed, there is Omar the Syrian, a lot of anonymous people who risk their life really every day to get us these images we're seeing. So it's really terrible. I guess it is an indiscriminate shelling. You know, I can't tell they've been deliberately targeted, but the frequency of the shelling is so tough. I mean, we can hear it in some of the video that are sent from Baba Amr, that, you know, it's something like Grozny maybe, or another area like this, very, very heavily shelled. So unfortunately, our colleagues were there, and many, many Syrians, anonymous, we don't have their names, we don't know what they look like, but they're also killed every day.
Joshua Landis, do you agree this is a situation akin to what was witnessed in Chechnya?
You know, it has a number of aspects of it. Absolutely, this is a struggle amongst Syrians to, you know, sort out who's going to rule the country and to overthrow a very brutal dictatorship. And there's an emerging humanitarian crisis. There's not much dispute about that, I think.
Suat Kini-Kliogu, you heard at the outset what Hisham Hassan had to say about trying to get some kind of a truce, at least. On your end, have you been? Do you know if the Turkish government has been speaking to Damascus and pressing that case?
Well, we don't have any direct contacts with the Syrian government for quite some time now. But obviously our public statements, our foreign minister, our prime minister and our president have repeated to draw attention to the humanitarian crisis in Syria. We expect the meeting in Tunis, the Friends of Syria group, to underline and underscore the need for organizations such as ICRH and others to be able to deliver humanitarian assistance in emergency situations such as Homs and others. But unfortunately, I feel it's highly unlikely that the Syrian authorities would allow that to do.
All right. So, and again, that meeting, Abed Amr Rabo, is on Friday. Today is Wednesday. Each day counts when you read Mary Colvin's last piece for the Times of London. She described what she saw Tuesday in a phone interview with Britain's Channel 4.
I'm on a street, half the houses on this street have been hit, including the one I'm in that lost the top floor. The Syrians are not allowing civilians to leave. Anyone who gets on the street, if they're not hit by a shell, they're sniped. There's snipers all around Bab al-Amr on the high buildings. I think the sickening thing is the complete merciless nature. They are hitting civilian buildings absolutely mercilessly and without caring. And the scale of it is just shocking.
It's got to be tough to listen to Mary Colvin's voice.
It's very tough, really. I mean, not only I've been working with her for 20 years, since the Lockerbie affair in Libya in '92, but very recently we were again in Libya witnessing the fall of Tripoli, and Mary had the room, my neighbor room, very next to me, so we share info every day, we share good stories, we talk about what's happening, where she'd go next, we talked about Syria, and of course, you know, we always say it's the honor of our job that some people like Mary and like Remy, and I think also about those who are wounded, you know, Edith from Le Figaro and another journalist, it's the honor of our job that they can go there and witness, even if it's really terrible, even if they might not come back. But still, even if we know that, even if we do this job for that, and even if we are used, unfortunately, to that, it's still very, very tough to listen to her witnessing like this now.
And we were talking about Mary Colvin. She was 57. Remy Ochlik, 28. Wise beyond his years, though. Some stunning work that he did out of Libya, most notably.
Amazing work. Remy was just awarded 10 days ago a World Press Photo Award. He should have gone to Amsterdam, I guess, at the end of April to receive his award. I spoke to him then to congratulate him, and it's a very, very talented photojournalist who unfortunately won't be. I mean, we will miss his talent, we will miss his smile, we will miss his eyes for a long time.
All right, we might be going soon to hear remarks from the French Foreign Minister Alain Juppé, who could be speaking on Syria sometime soon. I want to ask you, Hisham Hassan. Hisham Hassan, we've been focusing on the city of Homs, but the crackdown and the shooting taking a turn for the worst elsewhere. We know that there's been real hotspots like Idlib, Zabadani, Hama. It isn't just Homs.
Yes, exactly. This is what we were trying to attract the attention at. There is no doubt that Homs took a heavy toll due to the violence. But yes, in the past days in Zabadani, in Hama now again, and in other areas where we have been able to go and see. And we know now that the situation is very urgent. You said an expression about the situation not being able to hold maybe for one more day. One more day could be too much. And I have to say that we do agree with that, especially with a certain category of people. We talk about tens of thousands of people who have been injured so far. Many of them now are unable to go to seek medical treatment. Some are even afraid to look for help in certain places and therefore prefer not to get medical help. For us, a matter of minutes or hours could make a big difference in terms of access with what we are trying to do with the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. If we are late by 10 or 15 minutes, it could cost someone his life, and this is why we are making this public appeal now. It's to say basically that the situation is very urgent and that people need help as soon as possible.
Suad Kiniklioglu, the Syrian town of Idlib, not too far from the Turkish border. Are you feeling the spillover effect of what's going on?
Well, we have been feeling it for quite some time. Turkey is hosting close to 12,000 refugees on our territory. For months now, we've been providing with food and aid and medicine, etc. And as has been officially announced, we have no limit whatsoever. Any Syrians who feel the need protection by the Turkish state are welcome to cross over, although this is not something we desire. There were some incidences very recently where some gunfire was exchanged to villages close to our border, where probably Syrian forces were following up against the protesters. This conflict is very real and very close to us. There is no doubt that Turkey is very concerned and that we look forward to the international community after the failure in the United Nations Security Council to come up with a resolution to act upon and show the responsibility to protect the people from its own regime. We look forward in Tunisia that the international community finally will have some credible message to deliver both to the Assad regime, but also something very concrete and doable on the ground, because I don't think the situation is sustainable. And we, in both the people in the neighborhood and the country that has a border that more than 900 kilometers with Syria, but also the Europeans, the United States, and many others, the people in the region, I think, no longer can sustain a situation where on a daily basis dozens of people are killed and this misery and this violence is continuing on a daily basis. It has to stop.
In her last article for the Times of London, Mary Colvin spoke to ordinary civilians pinned down by the shelling. It makes for some wincing reading at times. Scenes like a week-old baby whose mother's too traumatized to breastfeed, or a boy killed when he went to go out and get bread. She writes, "We live in fear. The Free Syrian Army will leave the city," said Hamida, 43, hiding with her children and her sister's family in an empty ground floor apartment after their house was bombed. "There will be a massacre." On the lips of everyone was the question, why have we been abandoned by the world? Joshua Landis, I know that foreign policy usually doesn't get much shrift on the evening news in the United States, but are Americans paying attention?
They are paying attention. I think they're very moved by this story. The Republicans are calling for much greater intervention. The trouble is, President Obama is pulling America out of Afghanistan now, has just gotten out of Iraq. And Americans don't have much, they don't have much taste for leading this. Now, we've just heard from a Turkish official who is looking to the United States and the UN to do something. And I think that, many people are looking to Turkey. Turkey has this 900-kilometer border. And everybody's trying to figure out how to help the Syrian revolution. And it's not going to be air power, I don't think, at least not in the short term, not immediately. Everybody is talking about training, arming, helping with intelligence, aid of some kind. And that, that's going to have to be done from Turkey. And whether Turkey wants to begin to help setting up training camps for guerrillas and arming and training them is a question that, only somebody in Turkish foreign policy and foreign ministry could answer. There's going to be a lot of pressure, I think, in Tunisia by the Americans and Europeans looking to Turkey to lead the way here.
Suat Kiniklioglu, we'll touch on it more in the second half when we return, but just briefly, what's your answer when you hear Joshua Landis?
Well, there's no doubt if there is an appropriate international coalition who is politically, militarily, logistically ready to act, that Turkey would fulfill its own responsibilities. We are aware that we have a lengthy border with Syria. Our position towards the situation in Syria is clear. But Turkey would not be subcontracting anything on behalf of anyone. Turkey would be acting in coordination and as part of a coalition. By nature of geography, obviously, Turkey would play a key role in any future operation or whatever sort of intervention might come forward.
Before we go to the break, Amr, your thoughts?
I just wanted to say Joshua Landis spoke about a struggle between Syrians. I really don't feel it is the right word. A struggle would think that we have a balanced forces on the ground. I really don't feel that the Free Syrian Army or the population who's been having some weapons to defend themselves have the same ability to shell and to shoot on the other side. So the word of struggle might be...
But it is an internal conflict.
It is an internal conflict, definitely, yes. But it's more... it's a people who's not fearing anymore the regime, and the regime who doesn't want the freedom and the rights for the people. So it's... the word struggle make you think that it's a civil war between people who are equally armed. It's not at all the case here.
All right, and when we come back, we're going to look at what's the best way to put pressure to stop the bloodshed. Stay with us. You're watching the France 24 debate.